What is going on? Hold up. Sorry about that, y'all. What's going on? Welcome to the Sensational Gent. I am the Sensational Gent. I am Sean C. How you all doing today? We are here for live stream number 19. Let me know out there, can y'all hear me? Is everything going well with the sound and everything? Everything okay with the sound? Y'all listening? What's up? Anybody hear me? Anyway, so yes. I can't believe it. I am here for live stream number 19. This is absolutely crazy. I cannot believe I've done 19 of this, right? So thank you very much. Everybody's saying the sound is good. I got to make sure because I don't really have a way to check. I'm too far away from everything to check. I know you guys saw um, the title. I know you all saw the thumbnail. And listen, as you all know, this is a real deep subject. Okay, I it's almost you're almost hesitant to do a subject like this. So just to start off today, we're going to talk about how your self-esteem could be holding you back. And we're going to talk about building confidence, but we got to build confidence in a different way. All right. Because a lot of you guys are doing great things. You are confident, you're doing what you need to do, but there's still an issue in some of your lives. And what that is that you have this persona of confidence, but maybe the stuff from your childhood is still there. See, you've built up this persona. People tend to build up these personas to cover things that they went through, things in their childhood, things that have broken their self-esteem. And so, and I can say that I've been there. So I'm going to share some anecdotal stories from my own life so you guys could see. But what really sparked me to come up with this subject was the fact that I had started reading Will Smith's book. And let me tell you, I haven't made a lot of headway because I'm working on some stuff. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But I was reading Will Smith's book and I'm reading the story. And so we look at Will Smith and we see this larger than life figure. We see somebody who's outgoing. We see somebody who is charismatic. We see somebody that when we see, we smile instantly. We don't even know we're doing it. Okay. I wish you all would smile for me that way when y'all see me on screen, but that's okay. Ain't nobody going to try to compare me to Will Smith. Neither am I trying to. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. Here's this person that some of us even looked up to. And we see this guy, we see everything he's going through. And one thing that was apparent by looking at the book or reading this book from Will Smith is that he was, or at times, he's been masking his insecurities, all right, behind the wall that we build up into adulthood, right? We start to get a little bit tougher skin and we build through that. So that's what today we're going to talk about. I'm going to let you guys know about my stories. I want to hear about your stories. And I think that this would be a great discussion that we can have about insecurities we have and how we carry those over, how we can allow the things of our past to carry over into our present. Now, here on this channel, we talk about finding your purpose to live your best life. And until you shed those things from the past that hold you back, okay? And the other thing is you have to go in there, right? Sometimes you got to go when you're doing surgery, you got to go in there and cut some of that dead stuff out of there, okay? Yeah, the outside will heal up, but the inside ain't right. That's how you get, infections. That's how you get bacteria buildup. That's how you get those things that cause you to relapse. And so, and ironically, right before I got on this live stream, I was actually looking at it came across my YouTube feed. Y'all remember Full House? Was it Full House? Yeah. So you had the older sister, you had the twins, and I think the girl's name is Jodie Sweeney or whatever, right? She was the middle sister in Full House. And literally this story just came on my YouTube feed like they're listening or something, you know what I mean? And it came up right before I started doing this live stream. So I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm a little unorganized tonight. I did everything organized. I'm talking about like I wrote down, it's like 3 pages of stuff I got to get through tonight. So that's why I didn't do a long intro. I went straight into it. I want us to talk about this. And so, look, I didn't even do my normal, you know. So that's the intro, right? We're still talking about the intro. Today would have been my stepbrother's 44th birthday. And he passed away. I won't say passed away, it was even more, it was worse than that. But he's not here anymore. And I think about, we only were stepbrothers, right? We only lived together for a couple years, right? But in those couple years, you could see the paths of two different children growing up. So my stepbrother would, who's not no longer here, would have made his birthday today. He came from really rough surroundings, right? Really rough surroundings. And I, on the other hand, even though I was in some similar rough surroundings, mine wasn't as bad. I had a structure around me that kind of kept me safe and kind of kept me from really kind of falling into some of the things that you could fall into. So it was a tale of two different kids. And one kid, right, I would always get my homework done. I would always be done and up out the table. I mean, it didn't take me long, especially when it came to math. I was good. Your boy was good at it, okay? But with my stepbrother, he would be at the table and he would be there for hours. He would be there for hours. And so eventually we stopped staying together. He started getting in more and more trouble. Obviously, I've achieved a lot, right? I've done a lot scholastically. I've done a lot athletically. I did my time in the military, right? And so you can see that these were two different paths. He went to prison for over 10 years, right? So like we just went two different ways. And so that goes, I want to bring up his birthday because he was trying to make some changes. He had a family, he had all that stuff. He had gotten out of prison, and that life sometimes catches up with you. And so I want to bring that story up in honor of his birthday, not to dishonor him, but to show that if we go back to our childhood, there are things that happen. Regardless, I was young, and as much as I remember, I know that his mom had some issues and stuff, and he wound up staying with us. And so there you go. You can have two children living under the same roof, and maybe he might have had a chance could he stay, but it was a lot on my mother to take care of, to deal with. He did some pretty bad stuff, right? So short of maiming animals and stuff like that. I mean, but it was a lot. So we're going to talk about that today. All right. The other thing is I'm wearing my, let me get that intro off the screen. See, I am not controlling this well today, people. I got my TSG shirt on, right? My TheSimsationalGent shirt. I don't know if I have the link in there, but usually I put that on there. So I really got to work on making some more stuff because I have some other designs that I think would be great. I'm going to do some coffee mugs and stuff like that. I know some of you guys like to drink coffee. And then maybe I can have a different cup instead of this one so I can be drinking out of something. But you know what? This is my Superman cup. I'm not giving that up. All right, everybody. This is all about you, though. I want to know what's going on with you all. So we about to get out into some shout outs real quick. Let's see who's up in the room, who's up in the chat. All right. Okay, I know we got Eleanor who says she can't wait. Thank you for being here. Brick Girls Go Stateside. Thank you to Lucy. Thank you for being here. We got Dave and Kathy. Thank you. How are you doing? Thank you all for joining this live stream. Okay. And then, of course, we have my friend Karen who's here. Right. Thank you, Karen, for being here. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you. Who else we got up here? Is that it for right now? Oh, is that it? Yep, my boy Neil. Neil is up in the house. Okay, and we got Neil up in here too. So listen, for you all that are watching, that are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, the bell icon notification next to it so you don't miss any future videos here at TSG. And we do live streams here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're here. Now, everybody that's in this chat right now are very, very great people. They are amazing content creators. Make sure that you go and search out each and every one of their channels. And I will shout you guys out again before I leave, because I think I've been doing that lately too, because I am very appreciative of my audience and that is you. And I want to have a robust discussion tonight. I hope you guys are willing to open up a little bit. I mean, obviously you can't type dissertations in the chat. However, you know, tell me you agree, disagree, give me a little something. I want to have a discussion. That's kind of why I've been coming up with these topics. Again, in order to move forward, you got to know where you've been at to know where you're going. Okay. And if you're looking backwards too much, woe is me about the past, you're going to trip going forward. You're not going to be able to see where you're going. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about all these things today. I am, again, grateful for all of you. Oh, let me go back out to shout outs real quick. I want to give a quick shout out to Cocktail Tony, right? And the reason specifically I'm calling him out about his channel, whatever, he called me, he gave me a shout out on his channel. And I am so grateful to have met Cocktail Tony through Brick Girls Go Stateside. Lucy, I'm so grateful to have met Tony through your channel. It's such a lively personality. I see me and him. You know, I can see that when I get a little bit older, I'm gonna be there. Somewhere between Tony and Mr. Johnson. That's where I'll be at, okay? And then Mr. Kidney, he's doing great things with his channel, talking about helping people that are, you know, going through, that need kidneys transplants, that are going through dialysis, all those things. He's doing really great work, but he shouted me out the other night, and I really appreciate him for that. And then I told Lucy, I said, or Lucy, I told you I was going to shout you out for this. You did your comedy skit. And so in this, if you haven't seen it, check out the channel, Brick Girls Go Stateside. So in this, Lucy talks about it being against the law, I believe in Britain, right, for you to knock on someone's door without a reason. Is that correct, Lucy? Let me know down in the comments. I know the comments are jumping right now. Y'all are talking, okay? So when I saw that, so you knock on the door and you go to jail, my God, it's hilarious, okay? Because I was like, Lucy, where'd you get that hat from? It's amazing what you can get on Amazon, people, okay? But however, let me bring this portion up, all right? As a kid, we used to do that. We used to knock on folk door and then take off running. That's how we used to run. And and like people that thought they was real fast, they had their thumbs and their pinkies out, and that's how they ran. And they made that little sound, just like that, right? And then the thing that would get people caught is trying to see what their reaction is. Like, so you're at somewhere, you're trying to see, right? And that's how you get busted. But hella funny, especially when you get the right person. Like you really bold when you get their dough twice, because they usually be waiting by the dough. This drink is for Cocktail Tony. It's not a cocktail, it's just a Captain and Coke. But what else do I need, people? Reminded me of me. Oh, sorry. Did I say that? Sorry. I can see me being him in the future. Let's put it that way. So I see myself in him, or I see him in myself. I don't really know. I'm trying to give the deference to the fact that he's older than me. Okay, I'm trying to do that, people. Sorry. It's hot up in this room. Okay, it's a little warm. Okay, I'm percolating. Matter of fact, let me take this off. I didn't want to go show off the gun show today. Okay, I didn't want to go ahead and do that. Okay, and I need a haircut badly. If y'all watched the last two videos, it's been terrible. Okay, but I ain't ready to go do that yet. All right, let's go upwards and see what's going on. Ah, yes, that is right. It is illegal to knock on someone's door without lawful reason. Well, a lot of us would have been getting arrested if that was the case when I was coming up. Okay. Oh yeah, Tony has the yeah. Tony has great t-shirts. There's little nuances to this channel. Like his channel's gonna blow up. You know what I mean? Like there's some of y'all doing great. There's all of y'all doing great stuff. I feel like I'm just gonna be sitting behind still doing this show. You're like, well, you remember that young man Sean just to sit there and he wasn't that cool. So show just stay where it was at. Okay. Love Cocktail Tony's shirt from today's video. I think I saw it. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I did watch the video not long ago. So, and then Lucy says, happy to have connected you with Cocktail Tony. We love him and his channel. Absolutely. He's just an amazing person. Like if you're not subscribed to that channel, you're messing up. You like to have a good cocktail and a good little belly chuckle, you'll get it from that one. Okay. Everybody saying hello to each other. Okay. Okay. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. I mean, I got 3 pages worth of stuff, so I'm gonna have to actually condense this, okay? Because I want to get through it all. I really want to talk to you guys about this stuff, okay? I want to make sure that we're going there and we're going and we diving into this, okay? But this show is about you guys. So if y'all want to talk, we're gonna talk. Okay, we'll talk when y'all want to talk. Eleanor says I will come back to my channel at some point. Eleanor, you are in school. Your focus should be on school and getting that done, okay? You put in a lot of work. YouTube will still be here. You can resurrect your channel. You can recreate your channel. You can do a lot with it, okay? Pop in every now and then and let folk know you still around. That's all you got to really do. I saw a video on that, you know, like if you take a little time off, it doesn't kill you in the algorithm, right? If anything, it might make people reinvigorated by you. But anyway, so now I know, look, if you old school and you know horror movies, I put Children of the Corn as the subheading. And I'm going to get to why I titled this Children of the Corn. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But first, we got to talk about what is self-esteem, right? So esteem means value, or, you know, the value you place on yourself, or, you know, feelings of worth, right? So that's what that is. Self-esteem is the value you place on yourself. Now, I bring that up to say that I think we need to define what that is, right? I think people know, but it's good to define it. Self-esteem develops when we're in our childhood. And so that's why I brought up that story earlier about me and my stepbrother, because all of us have these stories. Most of you guys can pinpoint to a time or something you went through that you maybe felt insecure about coming up as a kid. Was there something that you was teased about? Was there something that somebody made fun of you about? Was it in your home per se, right? I'm not even talking about this on the schoolyard, but it might have been something that you've gone through in your home. Now, listen, I want to make sure I'm perfectly clear on this. My intention isn't to bring up your past traumas to make you feel hurt. That's not what I'm trying to do. I need y'all to understand what the purpose is. The purpose is we're trying to identify the thing that's holding you back emotionally. Okay, what's holding you back? What is holding us back? And a lot of times we can look back to that childhood. We can look back to certain incidents. We can look at the effect of people in our life, right? And so that self-esteem develops from those interactions, from our family, how we play with others when we was a kid. And so we learn from who we see. So we also have the examples in our homes where we grew up. We have those examples that we saw. So, you know, we might think a person is a good person and they're not. Or we realize kids are pretty intuitive, right? Kids have a pretty good sense of stuff. That means that, you know, you guys have a good sense of stuff coming up. Ironically, I find it funny that I talk to people all the time and they tell me how I asked them about their childhood and they like, oh, it was this, that, and third, but I don't really remember a lot of it. And I'm like, why are you suppressing your childhood? And some people just don't remember. Like it's there in your memory. It's just some people just can't recall certain things. And it's weird and it's odd for me because I can recall all the way back until the age of 2. And that was verified when I was telling this dream over and over to people in my family. They were like, that's exactly that's your grandfather's house. You were able to describe it to a T. How many steps, the color, how the posts look, how far a walk to the corner store, what the corner store looked like. Like I'm saying, it was like you couldn't, and I was following a guy who was really tall with an afro. It was like, that's your grandfather. Never, he died shortly after that period of time. So how did I remember that? Right? So something, let me make sure I get up in here. Oh, let me say, give a quick shout out real quick. Yo, cuz, what's happening? What's happening with it? This is my cousin right here, Big Esco. Man, look, Esco, me and your dad was talking, and we were talking about your little show where you troll people on Schmeagle. What is it called? Omegle. And hilarious, bro. And I be telling Unc, I be like, Unc, he be coming off the top of the dome talking to people like that. And here it is, I got to have a whole script. So hey, shout out to you, cuz, doing your thing, brother. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. All right. So we have negative self-images based on the way people act toward us, the way they've made us feel, and then in turn, it starts coming out or not coming out based on the way that we feel about ourselves. And so that all develops from childhood. Now, I said I was going to share, about me. I'm not embarrassed to share it. I'll be the first to admit. If you go ahead and look at the thumbnail, I kind of put these glasses that were just obviously too big for my face on the thumbnail because I wanted that to stick out. That's the image of me as a kid that I remember. See, in that picture, I didn't have glasses on. I took them off because they were goofy. They were gang goofy. Okay, actually, no, I didn't have glasses on. I didn't start wearing glasses until I was um, in the fourth grade. So I didn't really know I had a severe vision problem. And you know what's messed up? They take you to the school doctor through the year. So how didn't these people know that I didn't have had a vision problem? You understand what I'm saying? Like that means that they left me dry. And the fact that I was able to still make all A's as a kid, despite not having glasses, ought to tell you, but not every kid will be that lucky. But let's go back to me and my goofy ass glasses, okay? So, I got picked on, I got teased, right? So I remember when I finally stopped moving, because me and my mom used to move all the time, right? Over and over, different place, stuff like that, right? And when we finally stopped moving, I get to my neighborhood that I ended up graduating high school from. Now I lived in multiple places in that same neighborhood, but I finally was kind of stable. I was going to the same schools, I had the same friends. Okay, so those moves didn't affect me. So for all intents and purposes, from the age of 10 to the age of 18, I was pretty stable. Sorry, something in my eye, y'all. It's me tearing up thinking about them glasses and all them kids that tease me. Y'all ain't had to tease me like that. So listen, I uh I was a silly kid. I'm still silly now, right? I love humor. And I think I didn't let me finish what I was saying. So, once I started wearing glasses, I got teased for it. And then people, because I was smart, people called me professor. Right? Oh, look at it. Oh, professor, he probably predicting the weather right now, right? I mean, I'm talking about I got drugged, okay? Um, But I was lucky, everybody. I was lucky. You know what got me out of, not that I didn't stop getting teased about certain things, but you know what really helped me get out of the tease zone? I was good athletically. So here it is. How you gonna feel? Okay, tell me how you feel. You up here making fun of me, the goofy dude that y'all call Professor. All right, and Professor was good at everything I did. I was good at baseball, right? I was good at playing football, street football. All the kids making fun of me. I was faster. I was taller. I was better. Okay, and then I taught myself how to play basketball at the age of 12. And then I started doing that. I started being good at that. So me being good at sports was like, hey, if you keep making fun of me, then the dude you're making fun of is making you look bad. So you see what I'm saying? Then I got a better reputation for, like, yeah, he goofy, but he could play. He could do his thing. You know what I'm saying? We still respect that. And so not every kid has that opportunity. I was always a social kid, but you also got to realize I grew up an only child. I'm not an only child, but I grew up an only child. So when I look into the recesses of my psyche, I can already tell you that it was things of that nature, right, that affected me into adulthood. We'll get into that into the next section. Let's see what's going on here in the chat. Wanda, thank you for being here. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Eleanor says, I got glasses in the 3rd grade. That's about the time when they tell you you're blind. That's about right. My cousin says, man, I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I lost them. Hey, let me show you, bro. Let me show you. I know y'all be seeing me doing Mr. Johnson, but these glasses are real deal, okay? Boy, I need these. I be trying to fake it, though. Sometimes I be doing one of your numbers here, okay? All right? So, look, don't feel bad. I'm telling you, it happens to the best of us, okay? Let me take these things off because they're giving me a complex. All right, Flowers XCE says, hi, Sean, you're absolutely right. Learning a skill can greatly improve confidence. Love your passion around this subject. Oh, absolutely. I have a lot to say about it. Thank you, Flowers XCE, for being here. Make sure you guys check out their channel as well. They're great friends of mine. I really appreciate them being here, okay? All right, got some shout outs here. Let's see what else we got. Just more shout outs. Okay, let's get back to the story. Let's get back to what we got because I have a lot to bring up on this subject. I am passionate about it because I am not afraid to put myself out there. See, I was that kid. I didn't care what people said about me, but we'll get to that. So again, the children that we came up around, the people that we came up around. Let's not even talk about the parents and the people in your family, right? We have people in our family who are supposed to be there for us. They are supposed to be nurturing and guiding us. And sometimes they are our worst enemies, okay? They are our worst enemies. They will put you down sometimes faster than the outside world. Now, ironically, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm so blessed to do this, and I'm so blessed you guys are here. I swear, during the week, I come across these stories, and when they compile together, it tells me the subject I'm talking about is right. So I hope this resonates with someone out there. If you're watching this for the first time, I want to talk about these type of subjects. I want them to resonate with you because, again, it's about finding your purpose to live your best life. And until you find out who you are first, you can't find nothing until you find yourself, okay? Or at least be okay enough with yourself to limp on. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm reminded of this video, another video I saw. And the guy was a larger guy, and his wife was upset at his weight, to the point that she was withholding intimacy. And she told him that once a week, I want you to, without any clothes on, to get on the scale until your weight is sufficient that I think so, nothing's going to happen. This is real, people. This is a real story that this gentleman put out. Now, why did I bring up the adult story? Because I'm about to take you into this man's quick childhood real quick, so please bear with me. So this guy was a bigger guy even as a kid, and people would tease him, right? Oh, you're fat this and that and that, right? Blah, blah, right? He talked about this in his story. And then he said that, okay, you expect it to come from the kids. He said, but he had an older brother. The brother was 4 years older. So what do you expect when you have an older brother or an older sister? I don't know because I ain't grow up on one, but I'm going to tell y'all, some of you all have. What would you expect? Leave it down in the chat. If you have an older brother and older sister and you grew up with them, if somebody was picking on you, would you expect them to take up for you? Would you expect your older brother or older sister to take up for you? Some of you guys got younger brothers, younger sisters that's ready to throw down with y'all. All right? So this guy expected for his brother to stick up for him. His brother did not do that. His brother was the ringleader, started teasing him and telling, like, basically got the kids making fun of him, and the brother was ringleading. So now imagine this man has all these self-esteem issues. And so what happens? He's a good man. He had a good job and all that stuff. But what happens as you get older? Yes, you're able to kind of press it down a little bit, what you're feeling. You're able to push down what you're going through. But what happens? All you're doing is covering the wound, but you're not cleaning out the inside of the wound. You got to clean the inside of the wound. You got to get up in there and get all that rot and that dead out of there before you close it up, or it's going to become infected. Go back to this gentleman. Go back to what his wife had him doing. And she also brought up to him that, hey, I'm seeing someone else and they look like this. Okay? And I don't have to tell you, but I'm going to tell you. This gentleman said he thought about having the gun see the back of his head through his mouth. That's what he talked about. Now, he's pushed on and moved on from there. But his childhood of being teased made him have a negative self-worth, a negative self-image, to the point that when he got his wife, or he had his wife, he just put up with everything that she was putting on him. Should he have lost weight? Of course, it's for his own health. But the way she went about it is the wrong way. See, through love, she probably could have got more out of it than telling him about his past, or basically hurting him through his past. Okay? That's not going to make him push forward. It's not going to make him push forward. You got to do it through love. And I'm learning that myself, right? I'm learning that myself. That how not necessarily deal with myself, but how I have to deal with others too, to be able to deal in love and not be so pushy. It's hard not being pushy when you've been in the military 20 years and they tell you, hey, you're not pushy enough. Okay? So I have to go do that. You got to understand, as a young man, I learned things in the military that aren't necessarily conducive in, or not necessarily, I can say beneficial, but they're not stuff that the normal civilian is used to. And so now I'm in a place where I got to unlearn a few things because they don't work out here. Does that make sense? Let's go to the chat and see what you guys are talking about. Okay, you guys are just talking to each other. Okay, Eleanor says, my older siblings would stick up for me in a second. Heck yeah, Eleanor. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go here. Flowers Eggy says, Eleanor, me too. I have an older sister by 15 years, and my older brother is 13 years older. Great advocates and cheerleaders. They should be, right? They should be there helping you. That's your fam. Supposed to be, right? Yes, my sister is 7 years older, and my brother is 12 years older. Okay, you got some older siblings there. Okay. All right. Now the last thing in this Children of the Corn thing, the last quick story is Will Smith. Now, I have the book right here. Okay, I'll say that. Okay. Wow, that comes out really clear, doesn't it? Okay. So I'm reading the book. I'm a little behind. I've been working on so much. I have something coming up for you on Friday. Oh my God, I have a treat for you guys Friday. I am so excited. I hope it's funny for you guys. Doing something a little different with the sketch comedy, but it's taken me days. I got to create things, and I just can't wait. I'm very excited about Friday's video, and I've been editing all day, and I'm probably only halfway through because all the little stuff is going to take me a while. But I'm very excited about that. Please stick around Friday's episode at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so Will Smith details this story. He talked about he was kind of an odd kid. Like he would do things that the other kids weren't doing because he liked it. He did it because he liked it. It was cool to him, even though it wasn't cool to his friends. And he gave you examples in the book about how like they were all getting Huffy bikes. Huffy, y'all know Huffy bikes, right? And then he would get, the bike with the big goofy wheels and stuff like that. He thought that was a cooler bike. So he thought that when he go out and see his friends that they would, oh my God, you got the best bike ever. But instead, they made fun of him because he wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. And so there's this one particular story, or actually Will Smith likes to talk about he used comedy when he was a kid as a weapon. And he considers himself a coward. So in this one part of the story, there was a little girl who was in their neighborhood, or sorry, let me rephrase this. Let me back it up. There was a man in their neighborhood who was a known pedo, and he had a house in their neighborhood in Philadelphia. And so at one point he saw one of the little girls in the neighborhood, he was calling the little girl over and she was going up to the house And, I think like he was coercing her to get inside the house. And so Will was saying in his brain, I know I need to go help this little girl. I know I need to say something to an adult. But instead, he runs up into his room and he's in his closet and he's got his hands over his head and he's scared. And he had an imaginary friend, and the imaginary friend is trying to tell him, hey man, you need to go say something. He's like, no, I can't. He's gonna see me. He's gonna get me. He's like, man, you got to go do something. You got to go say something. This is not right. He just was scared in that closet. He talks about being so scared that something was going to happen to him. He just didn't have the courage to do it. Now, he talks about, luckily, that somebody else saw that little girl go into the house and it was able to call the authorities. So thank God for that. Okay. But I find it interesting. His imaginary friend, he said, after that day, he took no action. When his imaginary friend pretty much disappeared. He never heard the imaginary friend's voice again. And that's when reality set in about, hey, things aren't a play all the time. There's some real life stuff. And so I found that story, we all have little stories in our childhood, some very traumatic. I mean, some of us have some very traumatic stories. And that one was a very traumatic one for Will. And I listen, I think for me, one of the most traumatic things, believe it or not, was the fires I was in, and being scared of fire. And I was in a number of house fires. That's the thing that really gave me trauma. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. The reason why I talk about Children of the Corn is because in that movie, the children were in a cult, and they didn't believe anybody over the age of 18 should be alive. So I bring up Children of the Corn because sometimes our trauma as kids, we kill the adult that we could have been. Let's see what we got in the chat, everybody. Flowers, he says, I love Will Smith. I haven't read his book. Actually, I didn't even realize that he wrote one. I saw him in that movie. That was a true story about a stockbroker. Oh, it's The Pursuit of Happiness. That's what it's called. It's called The Pursuit of Happiness. That was a very touching story. I will tell you, I won't get in my emotions on that one. Watching him play that role with his son, where he was in the bathroom and they didn't have any place to go. Watching him in the bathroom with his son crying. Oh my God. As a father, if that don't touch your heart, as a mother, as a parent, as a guardian, as someone to have somebody you care about, right? And I think there's a reason why I talk about these homeless stories and stuff like that, because I was homeless twice while I was in the military. I was receiving a full paycheck and I was homeless. Because I still couldn't afford to take care of my family, live out on my own at the same time. Okay. Got past my feelings there. Okay. Brigo's gonna say so. I can't wait to see what Friday videos. It sounds interesting. I will give you guys a quick preview, or at least the topic. Do aliens exist? That's what the topic is about. Do aliens exist? And you guys will see how I interpret figuring out that question. It's going to be interesting. Dave and Kathy says, nurturing is very important in the early years. Hopefully it will come from parents, grandparents, siblings, and other loved ones. If not, it can be difficult then and in later years. My grandmother was an amazing woman, very smart. She would do these crossword puzzles. I'm talking about the hard ones. I mean, like, she would buy the book, the hardest ones, and she would do them in pen. She was very gifted in her linguistic skills, and she was very personable. I hated it. When I was a kid, she would Everybody, she would say, hey, look at my grandchild right here. Look at my baby right here. Oh yeah, he is smart as hell. Yeah, he's smart. He got the straight A's and everything. Like, oh yeah, and he tall. Yeah, he tall and he's fine. He gonna be a fine man one day. That's right. My grandchild is blah blah blah. All the bragging. And I used to hate that. I was like, how is she going? Why do we gotta go talk to everybody she meets? Now you guys could see at childhood, you can see why, even though I was picked on and I was teased, and even though people may have looked at me and doubted what I could do or didn't think much of me, right? All because all these things is that little stuff that I got from seeing my grandmother be that personable and kind and generous to people. No matter what walk of life they was from, she would stop and she would talk to them. Now listen, I'm going to tell y'all, she wasn't a great grandmother, but we'll get back to that in a second. But this woman talked to everybody. She loved everybody. And so y'all wonder why I could be personable as an only child. I could be personable that I am the way I am. Maybe I'm outgoing. These are the things that I saw growing up. It all affects you. It all affects who you are. Now, my grandmother wasn't the grandmother in the traditional sense. We had some great times together, but she was a bad management of her own life at times. And so my great grandmother is the one who was the one who brought me up. And this was a very strong woman. And she used to own a business, but she had retired and everything. And I got to see some of that strength in that. And I got to see how, she did things and people respected it. And I'm grateful for those lessons while she was still in her sound mind. Oh, well, there's a lot of chat. Let's see what we got going. Long as he says, oh, Sean, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Before I was born, my family had a house fire. My mom, my dad, brother, and sister had been living in a trailer. My mom had a premonition. Others can help, such as teachers. Yes, teachers. We'll get to those in a second. And for so many weeks, I couldn't figure out what it was or why she had such a bad feeling. She saw the flames and actually felt a sense of relief because she knew what it was. Yes, Pursuit of Happiness, agreed. And such a poignant story. Yes. So, wow, there was so much said there. let me get to all this. You guys said a lot. I'm gonna break it down real quick. A premonition kept me from dying, right? What kills you first? The smoke does, right? So I was in a loft bedroom, and I remember it was a Saturday night, so I was gonna go to church the next day. And it was about 11 o'clock at night. And some of you may or may not know this show, but there was a show on TV called Highlander. And I loved that show. Now, there was something in my head that said, you can go ahead. I was like, I should go to bed for church. And it was like, no, go ahead and watch Highlander. You should watch Highlander. And I'm like, that's wrong. What kind of voice would tell you to watch Highlander? But that feeling in the inside said, watch that show. And so I stayed up and I watched the show. And my cat, she bolts up the stairs. Again, it's a loft bedroom. She bolts up the stairs. Now, my room is above the kitchen, directly above the kitchen. Okay, my bed was directly above the stove. My cat bolts up into the room, runs underneath the bed. Now, my cat, I would put my cat's training against most dogs. Your average dog, my cat was better trained. So normally I would tap the bed. She would have came up and got on the bed with me. Lucky. Okay, Lucky, what's going on? I look underneath that bed, and my cat's eyes are like two saucers, okay? Huge. She is spooked, right? I'm like, come on, baby, come to me. She wouldn't come. And then so I look down the stairs. I could see a light, a orange light. And I was like, hey, what's going on downstairs? I go down the stairs. As soon as you go down the stairs and turn left, you're in the kitchen, engulfed in the flames. And it wasn't a huge kitchen. So I'm like, oh my God. So I go and get my mom. I think her boyfriend was there at the time. And my mom did the stupidest thing you can for an oil fire, but most people aren't trained to notice. But she took the water that was in a pot in the stove and threw it, and it splashed it which makes it worse, and it burned her, right? But luckily, her boyfriend was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" So he smothered it out somehow. I don't know how. I just remember the cabinets being charred for a very long time. And she was frying fish. And I don't know what, she went to the bedroom real quick and maybe sat down for a second and passed back out. And the fish was still cooking was still cooking. And had I went to sleep, she would have been asleep. The smoke would have went up into the room and it would have got me. And I wouldn't be here talking to you guys today. And then once the fire would have burned underneath the thing, I probably would have fell into the kitchen, right? Where I would have, my body would be burned. Me and my cat. That's my story. Like you said, aliens absolutely exist. Lucy, don't judge me harshly. You guys are gonna like the way I spin this alien story on Friday, okay? And this is gonna be done. It's gonna be my sketch, but it's gonna be done probably differently than you've ever seen any of my sketches here. The sketches on this channel. And look, people ask me like, like I know people keep telling me, keep doing the topics on the homeless stuff, keep doing these serious topics. Let's talk about this. Let's have engaging conversation. Y'all know why I still do the comedy? I just told you why. I just told you in my childhood, I just told you how I had this woman as a grandmother that loved to laugh. And we would watch, actually, it was my love of the comedy shows I watched coming up. I used to have to watch them with my grandmother and my great grandmother, but I love these shows. And you had shows like obviously the Jeffersons, and I remember Sanford and Son, and I remember Benson, and I remember Night Court, and I remember obviously I remember a Cosby Show, and I remember all these great shows that I remember. And I knew even from being young that I love to laugh. And so not everybody might get my sense of humor. I get it. I'm a weird person. I'm pretty weird. But if I could just bring a little joy to somebody, like, oh, that was pretty, I chuckled or something, that's good enough for me. And that's why I always want that included here. Right? I can be serious the whole time, but I want you guys to be able to laugh. I want others to laugh. Laughter sometimes is the best medicine to stop you from crying. See what we got here. Eleanor says, yes, I had grandma like that. I lost most of my caring grandparents from a young age, but I have a sacred grandmother in my great aunt. You know what? And Dave and Kathy, they said earlier that sometimes it may not come, that love may not come from the source that you want it to come from. So people will say, and this may be true in their case, don't get me wrong, but you hear people say, nobody loves me. Who's been guilty of saying that before? Come on, raise your hand. I can see. Nope, you raise your hand. I see you. Raise it. You know you said that before. Nobody loved me. And surprisingly, we might think that we have nobody in our lives, and sometimes we have people in our lives and we don't utilize them enough, right? And sometimes, and I told my daughter this, at some point in your life, in adulthood, you're going to be alone at some point. It's inevitable, right? If you allow those times, it's inevitable. It's like rain. But when you are alone, if you allow yourself to sink back into that child that you are, that you were, because you can't deal with the loneliness or being alone, right? And that's what I talked about. Sometimes we kill the adult that we should be or that we could have been based on the child that we was. So take alone time and use it to focus, to get more clarity, to work on who you are, to find out what you really like and love. Ooh, okay. All right, let's get back to this. I haven't got way off topic. So the next one is Silence of the Lambs. Let me go through this real quick, you guys. I just talked about the reason why I said Silence of the Lambs. If you remember that movie, obviously it was about you had Clarice, right? You had I want to keep calling him Jeffrey. I want to call him Jeffrey Dahmer, but that's not who he is. I can't think of it. Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter. So in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter. But when I thought about this title, I want to put it in perspective of us, right? So we have the kid in us that still needs that evaluation. We have the kid in us, or the kid that was traumatized or hurt or teased or bullied or whatever those things are. And instead of reaching back, like it's not good to go backwards, but it's sometimes good to go back and reach for that kid and pull yourself out of that circumstance that you're no longer in. Hopefully you're no longer in it. But you got to reach back just enough to pull yourself from whatever's ailing you, whatever's holding you back. And when we mask and cover our insecurities over the mask of being an adult, okay, then we're silencing the lamb. We are killing our innocence. We are killing the innocence that we could work on and be better and develop ourselves. So I will say, sometimes it's best for us to go get counseling. And I can admit that I had to go get counseling. I was getting counseling before I started this YouTube channel. Got counseling then, and I needed one more time. I got some more counseling. I don't mind talking about this stuff, right? Yes, I'm Superman, but even Superman get hurt by kryptonite bullets. And sometimes it could be something small that triggers you. It could be something small that comes back to you. You could see something and it just hits you a different way, you know, because it just brings you back to something that you just wasn't ready to relive, or something that you wasn't ready to deal with, or something that you didn't deal with, something that you let fester, something that you let go too long, not reaching back for that kid that you was and try to pull your emotional self out of where you are from there. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense, you guys? See what you guys are saying in the chat before I go any further. Oh, I already said that one. Neil says, wow, what a story. Thank you, brother. I'm glad to be able to share it with you guys. Eleanor says, I have definitely felt that at times. I won't lie. Of course. Lucy says, that's an incredible story, Sean. Gave me goosebumps. Thanks. Thank God you watched Outlander. Highlander. From the Highlands of Scotland. But yes, you're right. Yeah, it's crazy. It gave me chills talking about it. I have more to talk about. I'm going to tell you how I conquered it, you guys. Please stick around. I'm going to tell y'all how I conquered it. It's because it's a crazy story. It's not even crazy. You guys kind of already know the story. You already know it. You don't even know you know how I conquered it. I'll tell you. Neil says, yes, on my channel, I will always do comedy from time to time. Neil, you and I talk about this all the time. It's hard because we want our channels to flourish and we want to do well. But we can't stop being us. And that's the balance, you guys. Where do you want to be at in your YouTube journey? You know, sometimes you got to kind of put aside what you want to do to get where you want to be and maybe go a certain way direction in your content. I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. Okay. But I love what I'm doing. The views don't show it. The view percentage does. So thank you all for watching. But y'all watch longer percentages of my videos now than y'all did before, even though my old videos got more views. Baffling. But if this content is helping somebody, if this content is getting somebody to look within themselves and find that inner strength and find and fulfill their purpose so that they can live their best life, that is the purpose of the Sensational Gent. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it, you guys. So we develop two issues. We develop, we do self underestimation and we do self-overestimation. See, when we do self-underestimation, in those periods of time that we esteem ourselves lower than we should. And in some cases, lower than when other people see us. But most of the time, when you say self, it means yourself. So you are bringing your own value down. And then the overestimation is when you start getting into an inflated sense of ego, when you start getting to a slight bit of narcissism and stuff like that. That's an overestimated sense of overestimation of self. And listen, those are two of the main categories of self-esteem issues. All right. So now these issues, they manifest themselves in our adulthood in 5 ways. And then the first way is you're never good enough. You like maybe your parents or maybe your friends or the kids you play with, or you even tell yourself that because of whatever happened in your childhood, that you are not good enough, that no matter what you do, it's just not good enough. I'm worthless. You're bringing your worth down. You're bringing your value down by feeling that nothing you do is good enough. Anybody been there before? The other thing is self-erasure. It's still, instead of propping yourself up and boosting yourself up, you actually make yourself smaller. You diminish yourself around people. You diminish yourself, and how this becomes bad is you start diminishing yourself so that you can almost be silent in the world. You'd rather be silent where people don't criticize you or ridicule you. You'd rather just suck it all in and just be within yourself than to deal with any type of hate or backlash or even take any amount of criticism. You don't want to deal with any of it. So you bring yourself, bring yourself backwards, right? So that's self-erasure. Lack of self-love and self-care. Okay. I don't have to talk about this when we always talk about self-love and self-care. Self-love doesn't mean you go out and buy yourself something. Self-love means that you don't put yourself in situations that are going to hold you back, that are going to hurt you emotionally, that are going to hurt you physically. Also, self-care, right? Keeping yourself taken care of, keeping yourself washed, making sure that you're getting the things you need emotionally, mentally, physically, right? Taking the things that you need, not necessarily want, but you need. The other thing is narcissistic tendencies. And that's when you start having this overinflated self. But the overinflated self goes even deeper. And there's a worse part to this, okay? Here's where the narcissistic self gets bad. The problem with narcissistic people is that they care a lot about themselves. Now, it's a facade for something that happened before in their past, usually, but they usually don't care about others. They start losing empathy for others. They start losing care for others. We've been talking about this on this channel for the last couple of weeks about, that's what these videos are about, these homeless videos about. It's just opening up people's mind to care for someone other than themselves. And the next thing is, the last of the 5 is the social anxiety and psychological tendencies, right? So obviously it's kind of the erasure of self, but it's, you can still go out and function, but what will happen is you'll have these episodes that things will trigger you and you'll get this social anxiety. I have had that before. I didn't know why it was happening, but when I figured it out, I was able to get rid of those episodes of that, okay? And that's feeling like there's too much pressure on you coming from the outside of you, okay? And the other thing about social anxiety, we're experiencing this today. This will be a topic on another channel, and me and Tony were talking about it, me and Cocktail Tony, but is social media ruining things? So now you have this whole generation, not even just a generation, is affecting us too, because some of us people that are a little bit older, we're using social media more, and we're starting to need likes, and we're starting to need validation. But imagine the younger people grew up with this stuff. So now it's that they get social anxiety if they don't get enough likes or people don't respond to their post, right? Like it drives them crazy. So we will talk about that in the future. Now, we talked about Will as a kid, and we talked about Will had been hiding himself behind the persona of laughter. Dave Chappelle said this, when he was getting accepted an award. He talked about when he was a kid, he was skinny. He used to get picked on. He used to get bullied on. And then he said that his mother had told him something that really helped him. She said, be the lion that you need to be so you can be the lamb that you truly are. Meaning that she was telling Dave, hey, you know, he's quick-witted. He can jab with you with his words. He can cut you with words. Obviously, he's going through a whole bunch of stuff now. But he does that because he wasn't a big fighter growing up. None of those things were his skills. But he could think on his feet. And so that he can chill and be who he is, he became the guy that can talk. He became the guy that uses jokes to cut through tension. Will Smith did the same thing. You guys, this Will Smith story, the reason why I keep bringing up Will Smith right now, I think is very important because now with the book, it solidifies the things that I have been seeing for a while. Will Smith was still that same little kid. And some of those issues, I'm sure, manifested themselves in their relationship where he didn't feel that he was brave enough. He didn't feel he was good enough. Does this sound familiar? Did I not just talk about that in the five self-esteem issues that manifest in adulthood? We just talked about that. So sometimes we hide behind a persona. See what y'all saying in the chat real quick. I think I'm lost. Oh, missed that one. Oh, Eleanor, yes, I am currently in the healing process, which I may open up about one day on my channel. Yes, if you want to, but I would say make sure that you worked on yourself sufficiently that you can talk about it. I tell you guys and the whole world of watching this what I've been through because I'm not faking any type of confidence. I'll get to the end about that, but really and truly at the end, I don't worry about what people say about me. But we'll talk about that, why I don't. What else we got in the chat? In all honesty, I only experience underestimation of self. But that's why we're talking about it, so that you know what it is, and then you can work on it. You can go combat it. You can think about it. You can ponder on it. You can work on a game plan. You can go talk about it with your therapist. You can go talk about it with your best friend. You can talk about these things, and hopefully it gets you to seeing things that you didn't see about your past so that you can move on to your future, okay? Wanda says, counseling is the best way to deal with past issues causing your current triggers. Absolutely. And Wanda, I said that earlier, right? I talked about going to counseling. And I even brought up my own counseling because, we think that, I got to talk to nobody. I'm good. I can handle it myself. I'm not going to say that to y'all. What I'm going to say to you is that I know I can't handle it. And when I can't handle it, I am not afraid to reach out anymore. Okay? And if you look for the men out there, any men watching this, it's tough for us to open up. I grew up in a neighborhood where opening up too much was weakness. And people exploit your weaknesses. Yeah. I know it sounds like an excuse, but it's the truth. For a man, opening up too much could exploit us and make us vulnerable. But I will tell you, men, the best thing you can do is if you know you have triggers from your past, you for sure need to go seek some counseling because the problem is we hold it in. It's killing. It kills us. That grind every day, but people don't understand. For all you, Wanda, you got, you taking care of your kids. It's a grind. All they got kids and children, or you got family members you're taking care of. Some of you got older grandparents that you had to take care of, or your parents. It's a grind. Go get help if you need it. Tough Cookie Code. Ooh, you came to preach a word tonight. Thank you, Tough Cookie Code. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for being up in here. I really appreciate that. Oh, Karen is okay. If you had to go moderate, it's all good. I appreciate you. All right. Let's get to this last part. Hellraiser. are we? We are the sum of our experiences, right? We are the sum of all our experiences. But we kind of, some people live their life like Hellraiser. These guys were like from some alien dimension in this movie. It was a whole horror movie. And what they would do is they couldn't differentiate between pain and pleasure. Okay, so these demons or whatever they were, I can't remember, it's been a long time since I watched the movie, but they couldn't differentiate between the two. Some of us, oh, I'm about to tell the truth on some of y'all. Some of y'all get pain or pleasure from your pain. Let me say that again. Some people are full of drama. Some people need drama in their life. It's almost like you get pleasure. What they say, y'all know this old saying, misery loves company. You ever met anybody like that? Is that you? Is that you? Why do you have to be miserable, or why do you have to put yourself in these miserable situations? Why don't you expect better of yourself? These are all self-esteem issues. Why do we allow people to mistreat us? What is stopping us from being our best self? It's us. It is us. And sometimes you may need to go get a little help to go get that go talk to somebody, because you just can't get past it by yourself. The burden is too much for you to carry on your shoulders. You can't do it alone. Sometimes we can't do it alone. Even some of the strongest of us. I'm one of those people that people call me all the time when stuff is wrong. But yet, I rarely get to get mine out. It gets a little hard sometimes. See, nobody necessarily want to hear what I got to say when I'm going through it, because they're like, oh, you're okay. You always okay. But sometimes I'm not. And that's okay. But I'm letting you know that if you are letting your past stop you from being who you need to be today, then it's time to make a change today. It's time to get it right today. It's time to do this now. See, we only got two things. The two most valuable things we have is our health and time. If you don't have those two things, you're not here. It's not happening. What are you going to do with that? Now, let me get back. I told you guys that I was going to tell you guys how I developed my strength, how I got past my fear of fire. I joined the military. One of the first things they make you do when you're in, one of the things that you do in boot camp is there's a firefighter training. And you have to learn to help. You learn about fires. You learn about all types, class A, B, C, and D. You learn about each type. You learn about what they can do. You learn about what puts them out. You learn about how fast it takes for a house or a room to go up in flames. And then there's this real fire. I mean, this real fire spitting at you. You have a real fire hose, and you have to do the real stuff. And you're in the FFEs, and it's hot. It's hotter than I am right now. And you got to go in there, and you have to put the fire out. Now it's a controlled fire, there's sensors and stuff. But we had to train to do that. I had to get over my fear. I never want to get on the front of the hose. I was scared to get on the front of the hose. So, fast forward. I also go to submarines. Now, on the bigger boats, they have their own firefighting crews. Okay, there's a division that just fights fires on the bigger boats. And people know a little bit about it, enough to help out, but there's a team for it. When you're on submarines, you are the firefighters. You fight the fires? It's us. If we don't do it, we die. So it's a life or death thing. But I'm not a coward and I'm not a quitter. So I learned how to be really good at fighting fires. And they send me to all kind of schools. And then I get real good at it. And they just keep repetitively sending us because you got to keep your proficiency up. And we drill on it in the submarine because that's one of the most deadliest things you can have in an enclosed capsule is a fire or flooding. Those are the two worst things you could have. Okay. Now I go to advanced firefighting school. I am leading the charge. I am leading the fires. As I make my way up through the ranks, I become a chief. Now I have certain responsibilities in certain parts of the boat where I have to direct people. I have to direct the fire. I was able to overcome my fear through proficiency, through training, through being acquainted with my fears. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to understand your fears. You got to understand your limitations. You got to understand what's been attacking your esteem. You have to understand that past you so that you can move forward, so that you can move forward in confidence. But I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy to confront that past you, that past self, that past hurt, that past discrepancy in your life. So what the chat says. Neil says, preach. Eleanor says, it's okay not to be okay. That is absolutely true, Eleanor. It is. But if you need help, make sure you go get it. Karen says, I hear you, Sean. Sometimes I feel like a full-time counselor. Yeah, it's tough. It weighs on you after a while. Eleanor said, yes, that's really inspiring. Thank you, Eleanor. And I wanted to bring that up. I wanted you guys, we started in the beginning of this talking about childhoods. We talked about self-esteem issues. We talked about the things that ailed us. And I started that off. That's the way I started today's live stream. And I want to bring y'all to me today. I'm going to give y'all one more story. I'm not going to hold your eyes up long. I had more to talk about, but this is good. This is real good. I was in Hawaii, and I remember I think I was watching TV. I was in a recliner too. So I was kicked back. I was laid back like a dead frog. And then my ex was like, Sean, I think there's a fire outside. I was like, what? She's like, you don't smell that? I get a little sinus issues. So how don't you smell smoke? I don't know. Well, point is, I run outside and I run out the backyard and I, peek over and you can see that smoke. And she was like, Sean, what are we going to do? I run to my closet and I grab the extinguisher out of the closet. And before I had knew it, all my training had kicked in. All those years of training that they gave me in the military, on the submarines, everything that we had trained for. It was almost like I wasn't Sean for a second. That's how many years I had been doing it. I had been doing it so much. I've been training so profusely at this. I said profusely. I've been training so hard at it that when the time came to take action, I was ready to go. I had popped a pin on it. I had tested the fire extinguisher. I'm doing all this while running. And I get to the house and they were like, oh, we don't know if there's somebody in there. So like, I'm about to go into the house. But by this point, the heat was so bad. It was really bad. And I was like, is there anybody still in there? And it was like, we don't know. So now I'm like, okay, I'm about to take it and just kind of like, which me using the extinguisher at that point in the fire wasn't going to do much, but I was ready to run in that burning house. Just as I would about to make my way into the burning house, somebody said, no, everybody's out. Get out of there. So I'm talking about I haul because this fire is about to turn to flashover. Okay, flashover is it's only gonna burn so long, and it just goes up like a piece of like a little thin paper that you put in your like a wrapping, not wrapping paper, but the tissue paper is if you lit that with gasoline on it, right? That's how fast that house went up. But I took off. About a minute later, flashover happened. The house goes up. There was propane tanks in the backyard. They're whistling. When I got away from there, right? Because somebody's like, Sean, get out of here. And then like I snapped out of it and ran, whatever. And then when I got out of there, I remember flashover happened. I watched it. And then I started shaking because at that point, I wasn't in the mode to go save the day. Now I put down my extinguisher and I'm shaking. I didn't even think about the cost toll that my life would have had if I'd ran in that building. Not when it was happening, but when I was done, guess what? That kid is still in there. That kid that went through 4 or 5 fires, 4 fires, three fires, right? 3 fires. That kid that had been through 3 fires, yeah, I was shaking a little bit. Now I wasn't sitting there crying because I'm like thinking about the kid. I was just thinking about what if I had ran in that house? We wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So I want to know what you guys think in the chat. Is there, or I guess what's my question? What do you guys think about? What do y'all think about this? All right. What do y'all think about it? What do y'all like? Listen, today's topic was really about our self-esteem and going back to our past to understand where our negative self-esteem comes from and the types, right? That's the things that I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about getting the help when we need it. I wanted to talk about getting past our insecurities so that we can be our best selves. And that was the whole point, right? So listen, I shared a lot about myself today. I can't believe I let myself be that vulnerable to tell y'all some of these stories. At the end of the day, I'm not ashamed of it. It's just that you got to live through it for a moment in your head, right? So that's okay. Get the help you need if you need it. Talk to somebody if you need it. Don't go through it alone if you don't need to. And fix that child. Fix that child within you. Right? Some of you guys need to go back in for surgery and get that wound opened up and clean some of that stuff out of there. But is it too late? Have you let it fester too long? Have you buried it too deep down? Have you let it go for way too long? Now that it's too late to fix. And listen, if you all have stuff that's too late to fix, obviously go to counseling. But really, start enjoying your life. Start appreciating that you survived what you survived. Start appreciating that you've made it through what you made it through. Start appreciating that somebody one day is going to come to you for your story and they're going to be inspired by it and they're going to get passion from it. And you may give that person the spark that they need to ignite the fire that they will have in their life and the significance that they can have in others' lives. Each one, teach one. You guys are really quiet in these comments. All right, well, it is what it is. Look, you guys, I really enjoyed you guys having me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk to you guys this evening. Live stream number 19. Wow, very good one. I hope I got something I can come up with next week. That's gonna be good. Like I said, Friday, I'm going to do a sketch on these aliens. I'm working. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on this thing now. I'm really excited. It's going to probably take today and part of tomorrow to finish up because I want to make sure the quality is okay. but it should be pretty funny. Okay, I hope so. I hope so. All right. So you have any questions, comments for me? There's a comment down there. See what we got. Eleanor says, I try to remind myself every day what I've been through. Yeah, you have to remind yourself, but you also have to do what you got to do to get through it. Now, listen, I want to go ahead and say thank you to all my guests tonight. Obviously, Eleanor, thank you. Lucy, thank you for being here. Brick Girls Go Stateside. You have Dave and Kathy, thank you for being here tonight. Karen, my friend, as always, thank you for supporting. Who else am I missing? I'm going through here. Let's see who else we had. We got my boy Neil in the house. Bro, I hope you're doing all right. I'm going to text you after I'm done this because I haven't heard from you in a minute. I know you've been hustling. Okay? Who else we had up in here? I want to make sure. We had my cousin, Big Esco, in the house. Bro, cuz, thank you for showing up to the live stream. I really appreciate it, man. I hope you stayed, listened, got a little something from it. We have Miss Amici. We have Wanda. Thank you for being here. Wanda, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it very much so. I'm very grateful for that. All right. Who am I missing? Who else we got up in here? Who else was up in here tonight? We got my friends at Flowers, Eggs, and Yeast. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting. I know you guys get busy on Wednesdays. Thank you for being here tonight. All right. Come on, I'm trying to go through this. We have Tough Cookie Co. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for showing up to the live stream. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. And I hope you had a good time up in here. Who else we had up in there? So that's all the people that were in the chat. If you are new to the channel and you come up in this chat and you say something, I will give you a shout out. This show is about you guys. It's about talking about things. It's about getting over things together. It's about talking about issues. And I could not do it without you all. I am grateful for each and every person that was here tonight. You all make me better. And I hope that I give you guys something too. Karen says, thank you, Sean. Tough Cookie Co. Yeah, I like it too there, Karen. Yep. And then David Kevin said, love the stream, Sean. We'll be looking for aliens on Friday. Oh my God. I am so, I'm so excited to just give this to you guys. Just, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Now, just so y'all know, I want to put it out there for you guys. This is a comedy sketch, okay? But I'm just doing it in a very unique way for me. I haven't done this yet, but I just thought it was a good way to tell a narrative. And I hope that you guys will enjoy it. I'm putting a lot of work into it. I'm trying to make it look professional. And so trust me, I'm working on it. So I'm so excited, David, Kathy. I can't wait to get off of here, cool off a little bit, and then get back to working on this thing. That's how excited I am. I think it's going to be some good stuff. You guys are going to definitely laugh at it. If you don't laugh at this, something wrong with you. You don't like to laugh. Something wrong. Your funny bone broken. I ain't saying I'm the one that's funny on it, but there's funny stuff in there. Okay. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you, all my guests. I ain't gonna hold you guys up much longer. So look, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Loving yourself isn't buying stuff. It's sometimes just looking after your emotional, mental, and physical well-being for the things that you need, not necessarily want. Okay. And again, I want you all to strive to find your purpose so that, so that you guys, I want you guys to go ahead and do what you got to do. Find your purpose. Have a great week. Have a great weekend this weekend. Thanksgiving's coming up. Have a good time with your guys' families. And I hope everything's fine with you guys. And live your best life.